I just started the YouTube live so that I don't have to upload the recording again. Okay. Welcome to class 3 of this acceptance and surrender. And I'm so grateful that all of you could make it to the class. Let's start with a prayer and invocation to the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones. I humbly invoke for your divine guidance, divine love, divine blessings, for illumination, for divine oneness, divine bliss, divine help, divine health, and divine protection. I thank you in full faith, so be it. So friends, did you all get a chance? Let me just unmute you. Did you all get a chance to go through the article of surrender by any chance?
I didn't do today, but I did earlier, 2-3 times earlier.
Anju, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Do you all want me to go through that article roughly here?
Yes, that will be great. Thank you.
Okay, okay, just a minute. I'll just open that and then I'll share it. Because understanding the concept of surrender is very important. I'll first okay, looks like it's not. Oh, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So until now, we discussed in detail about this topic called acceptance. But along with acceptance comes this beautiful topic called surrendering. So what is the meaning of surrendering? In just one simple sentence, the meaning of surrendering or the definition of surrendering is this shloka from Bhagavad Gita, which actually summarizes or which speaks exactly about surrendering. It says, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahetur bhurmate sangoštva akarmani. So what it means is, it says, you do your duty and I will take care of the outcomes for you. So in the beginning of the first class, we spoke about roles and responsibilities of human beings versus God, although we are talking about two separate people, but who are the same, but still it is about just that understanding that there is a higher power. And we discussed this at great length in the first two classes. So in continuation to that, what we are saying is, if there is a higher power who is actually giving us the life force, who is giving this appliance the electricity and running this appliance, right? Then he must also be having an idea of the big picture. So what are we doing? We are either responding or reacting to an experience that we get. But why did that experience even come to us? Who is this person who's auto-generating these experiences? So there must be somebody, or there must be some higher supreme force who's constantly bringing us these experiences, making the right people come towards us, or make the right situations come, make the experiences come. So all of these things gives rise to the question of there is somebody, and that somebody perhaps has an understanding. So if he is the one who is giving us the experiences, then he may also have an understanding of the outcome, because outcome is also an experience. Correct? when you get an experience and you act on that experience, you are doing some action. You are asked to, let's say, respond to it, let's say through an action, either speaking or through your hands or whatever. And the result or the something that follows that action is also an experience, which you will again come in front, it will come in front of you, right? So if every single experience is coming from somewhere, then that person will also send that experience also, which is also the right experience for me. So with that understanding, what you're saying is, I will do my job and I will be mentally ready for all the outcomes. Although, let's say, as a part of my belief system, as a part of my experiences, let's say not experiences, as a part of my sum total of whoever I am, I may prefer a certain outcome, which is why we'll think that, okay, if I do this action, then if that outcome happens, I will be very happy. If some other outcome happens, I don't like it. So what we will be doing, we are typically trying to strategize our life so that we get the outcome we want. We are putting all our energy into making the outcome we want happen, which is typically done in most of the cases. But when we practice the art of surrendering, which I've been doing since 2017, since I got to know about this, it has worked beautifully. Initially, obviously, there was a lot of doubt, but what I felt was, hey, I've already tried to get whatever outcome I want by trying to, let's say, mentally plan it, strategize it, and all of that. But most often, what has happened is, even if I get the outcome I want, I'm still disappointed. I'm still not satisfied about the outcome. Oh, I wish it had happened like this. I wish it had happened like that. So there is some form of a sadness or some lack of satisfaction is always there. I had observed this pattern whenever I try to navigate my way to the outcome that I want. I'm always not 100% satisfied. So I thought, hey, I'm not always satisfied. So why shouldn't I try this new concept that I've actually come across? What do I have to lose anyway? So I kept trying to apply this concept. It was still a concept in my head. It had not even become so alive and like passionate about it. So I started saying, okay, I'm going to delegate. So it was like there was God and there was me. And I would say, I'm going to do this work, God. Okay, you are it was more like my team member, or let's say a team member that I trust. I used to be a project manager before. So I used to always feel that there is one team member who I absolutely trust. And there is like so much of trust that I won't even question whether he's actually doing it, not doing, no status updates asked at all. So that kind of a team member I have is what I used to imagine. So I used to say, okay, dear God, I'm doing this work. I'm going to delegate all of the outcomes to you. I'm going to delegate the outcome to you. And because I trust him so much, and I know he is a great team member, he does his work brilliantly and all of that, I would say, I know, after delegating, I would say, I know, I'm very sure, I have faith, I have trust that the output that I get is going to be very, very satisfactory and I'm going to be very happy with it. So typically what we do after we delegate some task to somebody, we are not going and micromanaging that task. Okay, if any of you have been in this project management situation, this is what we do. After delegation, there is no micromanagement. You delegated it to somebody because you have 100% trust and faith that they will individually or independently do that task, and you don't have to put your nose into it and then try to make it possible. So it is like whatever output they give you or they hand over that output to you, you will be very happy with it. It's like, let's say you just have experience or trust or whatever, because you worked with a team member for a very long time or whatever it is. So it just the kind of faith and trust. What is there to lose, right? You don't know anything in the first place. You have not tried this in the first place. So why not try and see? So it was more of that kind of a thought process that I had, and I just started doing it. And for the very first time I tried it, there was a cleaning situation in the house. And I used to be in IT at that time, and then I didn't have enough time. So and I come from a very orthodox family, so there was no
Hello?
scope of. Can you all please go on mute?
You have to record the session.
It is already being recorded.
Is it? Okay, thanks. Sorry.
Where is this? Do you see something called live stream?
Yeah. It's instead of
Yeah.
recorded, it's shown live. So I got.
Yeah, that is being it means that it is being recorded. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt.
I'm just muting you, or you can all mute yourself in case. Just wanted to avoid extra. So I come from an Orthodox family, my in-laws and all of that. So there was no scope of me bringing a maid into the kitchen or something like that and getting it cleaned. So I kept asking my mother-in-law, and then she would be very kind enough to say, no, I'm going to help you. You don't have to do it alone. I'm going to help you and all of that. But I didn't really have too much of help because she was also pretty old and all of that. And she would say yes, but she would obviously not have the time or the energy to come back and help me. So I knew it was impractical, but it had to be done. Solution to this. So I said, okay, fine. Yeah, this kitchen is not mine. One day I went to that extreme, and then come on, I mean, nothing is going on, nothing is happening. So fine, let me just try this concept, surrender. I had found that in some Facebook group. So I said, fine, this kitchen is anyway not mine. So this house is also not mine. They said this body is also not mine. So why bother? I said, this kitchen is not mine. So why should I take the responsibility? So I said, okay, fine. See, you be the project manager. God, you be the project manager of this kitchen cleaning thing. I will just be your employee, your team member or something. If you give me an order, or if you tell me when to act or something like that, when you tell me how to act, it should be like I should already understand. It's not like somebody coming and telling me, and I should have understood. It should not be so subtle. It should be like my head actually knows that I have to do something. Okay, it has to be so clear cut. So I said, you have to tell me clearly that I have to do helping in the kitchen or something. And but you should manage the project. Okay, I'm not going to do any such thing. I'm going to help. I'm going to physically help, but I'm not going to take over that responsibility because I'm drained out in planning this thing. So then, fine, I just left it after that. And every single day I'm in the kitchen, my head would literally get blasted. It would like keep reminding me, you know how the mind is, right? It keeps reminding, do this, do that, do this. I'm already a very task-oriented person. Multitasking and all that used to be very, very huge in my head. I mean, the previous years were like literally my head used to be full of that. But slowly I've actually slowed down a bit, but then it was like very fast. Then it would keep telling me, do this, do that, do this, do that. See, there is an ant there are cobwebs there is that dead whatever, dust here, dust there. Whatever it is, it just kept coming. And ours was a very old house, which means old construction. So there used to be lots of stuff, lots of deposits and other things as well. So, but I would kept telling my mind, no, I've already delegated. The project manager will take care. I've already delegated. I've already delegated. It's not my job. It's not my job. So this kept happening, okay? And I wanted to see how long this is going to prolong. And there's nobody to ask me, did you clean the kitchen or something? It was all in my head only. So then finally one day came, and then my in-laws were actually going out somewhere. And then I had this desperate urge to go and ask them. You know how many times I've asked them in the past? Like a zillion times, but then never got anything. But this time there was again that urge, but this time that urge was actually there was no doubt in my head that whether I should go ask, whether they will say yes, whether they will say no. I didn't have any dialogues planned in my head. All of that was not there. There was some urge. I just had to go and blabber something. So then I went there and I told Amma, can I call the maid to basically help me clean the kitchen? Then you know what she said? She said, yeah, clean the kitchen also, clean the fridge also, get everything cleaned. I was like, what is this shock? Kitchen itself is a big thing. And then now she's saying fridge also get it clean. Then I said, okay, I should not talk anything more. I said, okay. And I came back that full day. I got it cleaned. Even I cleaned, and it was over. And I didn't talk about it also. They also did not notice. I didn't expect appreciations or any such thing because it was all my project only, right? So then some other time again came after a few months. And again, I thought, okay, yeah, last time they've already agreed, right? So let me ask this time also. So this time when I asked, she said, no, right? We don't allow anybody. I will again help you sometime, but you don't allow anybody in the kitchen. I was like, what? Last time you agreed, right? Then she said, when? When did I agree? You've never allowed anybody inside our kitchen. Have you forgotten? She told me all those kinds of things. Then I was like, oh, really? Is it? Oh, let me just stop sharing and then talk. So this is what actually happened. And I was actually in shock. How did this happen? How did they even forget that they've told yes and all of those things? And like this, multiple such situations have happened, and I started applying this for some of the lost items. See, then it was not like it was, I had to apply it on my life, in my life situations or something. It was more about something where I didn't have control. If I had lost one old recipe book, and we were vacating the house, and that book was very dear to me, although it had many non-vegan recipes and I had already turned vegan, but there were still a lot of recipes that I would tweak and then make it vegan and all of that. Very old recipes. So I was like, I wish I had got that. I wish I had got that. But then I was not finding it. Then again, I surrendered. So here, surrender means I'm okay with any outcome. So which means you should be able to understand, typically when you do an action, I'm sure you understand what all the outcomes can possibly happen. In this case, one outcome could have been that I'll wait endlessly and no favorable outcome would come. And I only would get irritated and I would just give up and I only would go clean. So something like that, many such outcomes would be there. And one more outcome was the maid would come and help me. So in this, I did not know what outcome will come. But in my experience, time and again, whenever I have applied this, whenever I have surrendered it to the supreme power, he who is already within me, who already understands my ego's desires. Okay, ego wants comfort. And the God inside also respects and understands those comforts. It's not like he's unaware of the comforts that we want. In fact, who even gave those desires in the first place? The same God, right? So he understands. He's the one who's closest to us. It's not like our parents. Our parents may misunderstanding our what we like, what we don't like. Our children may misunderstand it. Our husbands may misunderstand. But the God inside does not misunderstand because he is the one who's running this body and mind. So he understands us more. Even though you don't ask, there are so many things that you have actually got which you have enjoyed, isn't it? How did you know? How did God know that there are some things that I have to give to her or him, which they will already enjoy? Because that you may not know yourself. The ego may not know 100% of your nature, your own nature, but the God within knows you, and he knows exactly when you will be happy. And the God within us is constantly striving to be that supreme, that highest state is always trying to be achieved. Okay, he always wants to be that Sachidanand in every single thing. So unless unless the ego comes and puts its block or something, whatever experiences we are getting, we are always going to that state of happiness. Okay, so this is what surrender is all about. And you need to keep practicing this in all kinds of situations. just for the sake of practicing. Just for the sake of practicing, you need to practice. Just for the sake of witnessing that bliss, you need to practice. Because we've done time and again controlling situations and trying to get whatever we want, right? Sometimes we get, sometimes we don't get, and sometimes we get satisfactory results only. It's not like we've ever always got the best results. Even if we've got whatever we want, it's always been satisfactory in my opinion. So try and see. It is always going to give you best results, especially in situations where you want to go and ask something, right? There were so many experiences that people were talking about. What was this situation? I think Valli was speaking about her marriage, and then she was saying that her parents are not even agreeing. There was some situation about marriage that she was mentioning about, right? So in that situation, what was the issue? The issue was she was not yet married, and the parents were not agreeing, and the matches were not happening. So again, how do you know who's the best match? That there is that God within every single person, even inside that man who's supposed to come and marry them. So connect to that central satellite, which is that God. So just say, hey, I'm surrendering to you. May the best man appear. May the one who's right for me appear. That kind of thing, right? So just surrender and say, see, when you surrender, you need to have 100% faith that whoever is going to come is the best for you. So that, because you may get a person who's a little dark, you may get a person who's little maybe very short or something. Why? Because he will have to, in any marriage, that person is the closest to you to remove all your, he's the closest VVG, he's the closest POSC that you always have to dig up, to mine whatever you have. And that is the soul contract we have. And then if that guy comes and then he is dark in color, because you are probably expecting a fair person. So there are so many such things that will happen. And then you should always think that when the outcome comes, it's always going to be for your best. Typically, in my experience, it's never a satisfactory experience. It's always a happy experience only. Even if you get a person who's dark and in your mind, darkness is not great or something, but there will come some reason or something will happen in that thing where you will actually be very happy. Maybe he's very humorous and you are willing to overlook his beauty because he's so humorous and he's so jovial and he's so loving and he's so caring that that part did not even matter to you, right? So you will end up being very happy if you trust the outcome of surrender versus the outcome that you are trying to go to. Many times, whatever you want only will come, but attached to that happiness factor, satisfaction factor. So this is in brief, what is surrender? So in summary, when you say, dear God, I surrender to you. I am going to do what I want. And I'm going to surrender the outcomes to you. And I am mentally ready for all outcomes. For example, a day before yesterday, what happened was my daughter had lost all her Hindi notebooks. For some reason, she had lost all of these things. And that was her experience. I will not question why she got those experiences. I'll just say she has those experiences. She had to surrender. She had to submit those notes. It was the last day or something. And that morning, before she had to go to school, she started shouting, saying, Amma, I need you to write one letter to the teacher. She's in 10th. Okay, I need you to write a letter to the teacher saying she needs 1 or 2 days extra because she's lost her books. It was really weird because writing a letter to the teacher of a 10th standard student is actually does not happen. Second thing is, and this is the first time I'm getting to know that she's lost her books and then she needs some time. I said, I have no idea whether you've actually lost those books or whether the books are at home and you are not finding it, because many times the children are not having the patience to go search in their own wardrobes properly. So I told, there's the first time I'm listening to it. I don't have any data to say, to even support this whole situation. For me, what felt right was not writing the letter. And in every single angle, I tried to look at it, not writing that letter, not doing what she wanted was the best thing to do for me. And at the same time, I was feeling bad that I'm actually not supporting my daughter, right? Because I'm working on a, let's say, healthy relationships and all of those things. But my inner self was telling me, or rather, I was feeling that writing this letter is not okay. So what I did was, there was a lot of lack of clarity. Even though I tried to put all that knowledge into the place, analyze, blah, 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 all that I tried to do, there was no way I was getting any solution or any reasoning to say why I should be supporting her. So I said, okay, fine. This is, in any angle I see, not supporting her itself is actually making sense. And by this time, she was actually very, very irritated. And it was already another half an hour, 45 minutes, and she had to leave the house and she had not even taken bath. She was worried. She was still trying to see what and all that. Then my husband was also in transit. He was returning from the US, and he was in the airport. She tried to call him and tell, please ask Amma to write a letter. And then he calls me, and then he says, what is happening? So I told him, then he says, okay, fine, yeah, I think you don't have to write a letter. So we both agreed on not writing a letter. And now it was her situation. I said, okay, see, I can't write this letter because I think if you have lost it, and if you've kept me in the dark, there has not been any transparency with respect to you. Then I said, when did you lose the book? She said, many days back. And why haven't you told me? Because I thought I'm going to find it someday or the other. She has, I don't know what happened. She has actually forgotten about it or what, but she has actually not paid attention to it. She's thinking that it'll turn up somewhere. And now there was a submission time, and then this was happening. So I said, see, I can't help you. You go and tell your teacher. It's okay, face the consequences. I think you are in fear because they're going to make you stand in the class and all of that. It's going to be a lot of shameful situation. She's going to be ashamed about it in front of her friends. That's why she want to avoid the situation. It's more about getting the book back. It is about the shame and a shameful situation that she's going to have in front of the friends, classmates. So I at that time I had already surrendered. I said, dear God, I'm going to do whatever I think is right. Rather, what comes to my head is right. Again, that also is God only, right? So I got what is right, and I said, I'm not going to write this letter. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to face all the outcomes where she's going to be angry with me. She's not going to talk to me for one day. Or maybe she'll just say, okay, fine, and she'll go. She'll be okay. So there could be n possible reasons, or maybe the book only will turn up somewhere. I said, I will finish the cooking and all of those things. Morning, I had to do all those chores, finish her packing her lunch bag and all of those things. And I went downstairs to look for the book myself because even I wanted to participate in this. So I went and started to look. Then she said, Amma, I just figured out that from which point of view you were coming. And I think you are right. You have no data to support me. And I see where you're coming from. So I have decided one thing. I'm going to meet the teacher before the class and be very honest with her that I've lost this book few days back and I thought it's going to turn up and all of that. And I didn't want to tell you because you might feel that I'm giving an excuse. So she decided all those things and she said, this is what I'm going to do. Let's see what happens. I said, okay, fine, you surrender and let's see as it comes. So I was very happy with that she had only got this thing in her head. And my husband also was very happy. I had called him and all of that. So that went. Then in the evening, she came and told me that, you know what? ChatGPT also thought that you were okay. What you thought, that you did not help me and all that. No, ChatGPT also thought that you were okay. I said, how ChatGPT? What does ChatGPT know? She says, I typed my whole situation in ChatGPT, and then the ChatGPT actually gave her very smart answers. I said, how can you possibly even explain your situation in ChatGPT? And then she said, yeah, see, wait, I'm going to show you. I don't know what she did. She actually, maybe there is history, I don't know, I'm not too much fluent with all this ChatGPT. So she went and then she actually got that part, whatever she had written, she actually read out all of those things. It was like, she was actually talking to a person. See, this is what happened. I lost my book and then I didn't want to tell, blah, 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 blah. She's written everything. And see, and it has told, see, maybe, actually, rather, I can't really tell all that, but then ChatGPT had very nice English and all of those things. It had given a very good understanding that the right thing to do is for you to go and then talk about it. And confront your teacher, because you are going to learn to trust and you're going to learn truth, to be truthful and all of those things. Okay, that is what it has told. And then she has asked one more question. Do you think my mother is right in not supporting me or something like that? And then it said, yes, she's coming from the right perspective because you have not kept her updated. I'm like, what? So how is it that she said she's also not fluent with ChatGPT or something? But at that moment, when I surrendered in the kitchen, her head has actually thought, what it is like really school time. She has not taken bath. And what is that kind of mind which says, go and open the laptop and then open ChatGPT? She actually went and did it, and she has had the time. See, time has also expanded. She has had the time to go and type all of these things, read all of those things, and then also ask that question of, because she had that grudge saying, oh, my mother is not supporting, my mother is not supporting me, and all of that, right? She had that thing to go and ask, saying, is my mother right? And then ChatGPT has also supported me, saying, yeah, she's coming from the right perspective because she didn't have any data, blah, 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 and all that. So she was very happy. Apparently, she went to the teacher, and the teacher also was very happy that she was very upfront about it. And she said, I'm going to submit it tomorrow itself. See, she was overcommitting. She had already so much of notes to finish, but she was overcommitting in that zeal to tell. But the teacher gave, she said, no, take few more days, because it's impossible for you to finish all the notes in one day, that too one night. So take few more days. So she did all of those things. So this entire thing ended. And when you go and tell anybody, hey, you know what? You know why, how this happened? Because I surrendered. Because I surrendered, this happened. It doesn't work. See, the surrender is more about you and your reality. And when you go and talk to them and say, you achieved something and all of that happened because I did it, it doesn't work. Okay, that is also, again, it becomes ego. Ego is again saying, I did something, that is why you got. So there also you need to be very careful about not going and bragging about what you did, even though it has worked in your favor, but it's best not to brag about the situation. Okay, so this is how surrender works. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll allow you to read this surrender articles by yourself, maybe in the next week, so that you can read and come back with questions or something. But I'll take I'll handle some of the questions that came from the participants, and then I'll put a surrender thing to it, and we'll take real-time examples, and then we'll discuss. And when you read those articles, you'll also be able to address it. Okay. So then Pooja was talking about if a person is constantly rather dirtying the toilet in the house, how do we address it? As let's say a mother or as a female in the house. So we are here not to actually solve a problem. Okay. That you need to really understand. Yesterday, when we were discussing and all of those things in the chat, I want to be very clear that this learning exercise that we are doing here is not to solve the problems we have. Problems have a tendency to solve by themselves. Okay. If somebody rather brought certain pieces of the puzzles together, which looks like a problem in front of us, in our perspective, the same pieces of puzzles will be rearranged by the same universe when we change our perspective. So you are not a problem solver. You are only the person who works on a mind level and brings acceptance and surrender through reaction and applies reaction or response. It's all about, let's say you don't have hands, you don't have anything, you can't even do any action, but all you can do is mentally only navigate everything. So that is what we are doing. We are only not solving problems. Any problem will solve by itself when you change the way you look at things. Because your perception is limited, that is why it is looking like a problem. But when you change your perception and go towards the divine state through acceptance and surrender. Acceptance and surrender is a very high frequency emotion, or it's a practice, right? Which practicing acceptance and surrender, it's like tools. Practicing acceptance and surrender raises your vibration to a very high state. And when the vibrations are very high already, right, problems have a way of sorting out themselves. And the high frequency vibrations also has a tendency to bring you to a present state, not past, not future. Typically, when we are worried, when we are in an anxious state, or when we are guilty, all of those things are either you are in the past, or you are influenced by the past, or you are influenced by the future. So here in acceptance and surrender, you are in the center. And in the center, the vibrations are very high. And naturally, when vibrations are high, typically the outcomes are in favor of the way and serves for the highest good. So here, we should not try to solve problems. We should always try to put our effort in working with ourselves to come to a strong reason as to why this thing is necessary in my life. It's like when I say, why do you have let's say suddenly one hand got attached to me. Okay, it's a new hand. Suddenly it got attached to me. I need to have a strong reason why this hand is necessary in my life. Do you get the context, Radhi? Do you get the point? I need to have a strong reason why this hand is necessary in my life. And then I can come out with 10 reasons. And that's why I believe that it's okay for this hand to stay with me. Tomorrow, another accident can happen, hand can go. But until the time it is willing to stay with me, it is still my partner. I'm not trying to get rid of this new hand because I don't have reasons to accept it. The very fact that it has come and attached to me means that it is necessary for me. That's why it came. I need to put my energy into understanding. You can give a cooked up reason, okay? That reason doesn't have to be genuine at all. You can put a magical story into your head, Alice in Wonderland story, and then you can find a way to accept. Okay, it's all about you convincing your ego why this new thing that has come into me is okay for it to stay in my existence, stay within me. Otherwise, your ego is very uncomfortable with new things. It doesn't like new things. So you should somehow have a story in your head to say why this is absolutely necessary. And you should not feel that, oh, what if I say this is absolutely necessary and convince myself this is necessary? What if this pain doesn't go at all? Because now suddenly I started liking the pain. No, your body's tendency, or the tendency of this God and this being, or the God within you has a tendency to always keep going towards that God state. Let's say to the center. That is the automatic programming it already has. Pain is not a center thing. Pain is actually off center. So just because you say, it's okay, I'm accepting the pain doesn't mean that it will always stay here. It will naturally come to the center easily. Because when you say, I don't like, it means that you are putting on pressure. It's like pain is here and you're putting on pressure here. Stay, don't go. Actually, when you say, I don't like you, it is more of saying, I like you. Rather, don't go. But when you say acceptance, the force that you are putting like this, no, you're just come out to the center. It's like dog's tail. A dog's tail is always bent like this. When you are in resistance, you're constantly trying to pull. Let's say you pulled a lot and then you made it straight like this. That is what is called, I like dog's tail to be straight. So I'm trying my level best to keep it straight. But when you let go through acceptance and surrender, automatically it will go back to the way it was. And the natural state of anything in the world, anything that you dislike, is to come back to the status that you will usually like. So why shouldn't you practice acceptance and surrender instead of constantly putting your energy into correcting it to the way you want, right? Put it into your mind. Bring yourself to say, why this thing came to you in the first place. So then when you tell your ego that it is safe to accept this into my reality, then ego will not fight. Then if there is no fight, then that thing will automatically come back and come to the center, and then you will have the best experience. So like this, that is about surrender, okay? Surrender and acceptance and all of that. So don't fight anything. Don't fight a problem. Don't look for, it's more of, I'm not saying don't plan for solutions or something. I'm just saying that in the mind, it's not about action. It's not about action. It's always about the mind. For example, like somebody in one of my clients, she was saying that I'm getting stressed out. She was going to, let's say, yoga. She was going to this, she was going to that, for some healing that she was planning to do. So she was doing also this juicing and this and that and all of those. And if she misses out something that she was planning, she used to feel very guilty that, oh, I'm not doing this. So maybe I'm stepping so many steps behind now, and I'm not going to heal, because it was related to cyst and all of those things. So she was also in panic. So it is not about the action. You do any kind of action. You go to that acupressure healer, you go to Reiki, you go to pranic healing, you go to anything, you do juices, you do whatever, it really does not matter. But what really matters is, are you doing all of those things to chase that cyst away? Which means that you're not in acceptance. You're not in acceptance for that thing to come into your being. Of course, who likes cysts? Because the world has created a belief that, oh, cysts and cancers and all that are something to be feared and we will die and all of those things, right? So there is a lot of fear, which has, at a community level itself, there's a lot of fear. So people naturally come into the fear that, what if I die? What happens to my children? All of those kinds of things. So first thing, if we have to heal, the very first thing that we have to do is follow the process of acceptance and surrendering the mind. Without surrender, nothing external to you is going to help you heal anything within you. So that surrender is like a mathematics equation. You have to apply the formula. Without applying the formula, you will not arrive at the solution. It is as simple as maths only. It is like 2 plus 2 only is 4. 2 dash 2, you can't put minus, you can't put into, you can't put some other symbol there and expect 4. If you want 4 there, you have to put a plus there only. There is no other choice. And if you want the proper solution that you want, nothing that you regularly know of, which is panic, anxiety, jump to this, jump to that therapy, jump to this therapy, will not work. You should automatically put your effort into acceptance and surrender, and automatically whatever tools you use will naturally start helping you, because external worldly things does not matter so much as compared to what is this mind doing? What is the intention of that mind? What is what is the reason given inside to be able to support this or do these actions and all of that. Okay, that is the thing. So first one that Pooja was saying is, if a person is constantly, let's say, making a mark in the toilet or something in the house, how should we handle it? Because I had given one example in the last class. So I'll tell you what I do. I can't say whether I'm right or wrong about this, but this is what helps me. And there has been a lot of situations where I have tried to tell people, but perhaps when I was trying to tell people, I was more irritated that my toilet is dirty. I had just cleaned it and the toilet is dirty. So why don't you have that common sense of leaving it in the same way that you actually found it when you used it? So that is like expectation of people, common sense. So it is like a simple act of wanting to be understood, right? Why do we actually feel bad in life? Why is there so much of sadness in life? Is always because there is a urge to be understood, to want to be understood by somebody. So to want to be understood by somebody, we actually have to understand somebody else also. So of course, I didn't go into all of that. Now I'm telling all this, but I'm just saying that I was thinking, why is the situation constantly coming to me? Oh, I have to go around following this process of acceptance. Now, this situation of this toilet constantly becoming dirty, and I'm finding it, and although I'm going and telling them, they are either defending themselves or they are again and again making the same thing. So if this situation is still coming into my life, it means that somewhere I have not 100% gone into acceptance or gone into surrender, which is common, which is what you say, obvious. So I thought, okay, fine, I'll keep practicing. Someday I'll come into complete acceptance and surrender, because maybe the reason that I gave myself is not strong enough, that my ego has not completely accepted it. How do I know whether I've completely accepted? I might think that I've accepted, but the energy might still be in resistance, right? So I don't know whether my energy is still in resistant state and all of that. So I said, I'll keep trying. So like this only, I kept trying. I said, okay, I'm going to tell them, but I'm going to go and tell them when I'm in surrender. I will surrender and go tell them. So I would say, when I go tell them, they can either defend back saying, oh, I didn't do it, it was already there, or no, I used the flush, I used the hand faucet and I cleaned it. Maybe somebody else have used the toilet after that. So that could be possible, any things that you could tell, or they can generally accept saying, yeah, sure, next time I'll be more careful. Any possible outcome can happen. So I said, any possible outcome is okay, dear God, I'm surrendering, and I would go tell. Something would come, something would not come. So irrespectively, I did not depend on it. I thought it might be my duty to go and tell. I would go tell without any expectations back. But now they are either in school or they are either in office. Now who is at home? I am at home. Who should see the toilet? I'm practically, what is happening? Practically, surrender and all happened. But then practically, I'm the one who's seeing the toilet. Who's getting bothered by the toilet? It's me only. So either I can do that surrendering exercise that I did with the house kitchen cleaning, or I can just do it myself. I asked myself, are you willing to wait for that long for somebody to come and clean this? Are you willing to do that surrender job for somebody to come and clean this? Or you are okay to do the cleaning yourself? For me, I felt that it was easier and it would be a good learning for me to just do it for God. So I just started doing it for God. I would go and tell them about this, but I was okay into clean the toilet, or it was just a small mark or something. So I would put Harpic or something like that. It would maybe go off in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or something. But that act of irritation that I had, don't they have common sense kind of thing, that I started working on. That judgment that I used to have on them, no? For me, I thought that was more a work that was necessary within me. And then I started to work on that. And now when I see any toilet and mark or something like that, I'm seeing it more as, does it bother me? I'm measuring myself to see, does it bother me? And I'm just working on it, and it has drastically come down. That botheration has drastically come down. And who knows, maybe once my botheration completely goes off and I'm okay cleaning it, maybe that it will not, yes, the occurrences have definitely reduced, but it will completely go off and people might be very mindful also. See how many times we go to some ashrams, or I've seen people, at least I've not done so much of that, but in an NCC camp I've done this. Because I told I did it, but I was not in seva or surrender or anything. But I've seen lots of people who go to ashrams, enlightened masters ashrams or something. Everything is more of voluntary service and seva there. Even Puttaparthi Sai Baba ashram and all that, right? So many people go there for seva. They do all kinds of work. But when they go there to do all kinds of work, there is no sense of dignity of labor. Which means if somebody says today you have to clean the toilet, they will go clean the toilet. There is nothing like, oh, I don't know how many people, this is a public bathroom, I don't know how many people have used it. There is, because for them, doing everything in Puttaparthi or whatever is more of a seva. Right? At the same time, you come in this situation in the house where your own family members have, let's say, littered, dirtied the soiled the toilet or whatever. You are questioning about it. You are finding, don't they have common sense? But that God that we think is in Puttaparthi is also inside our house also, no? So for me, that kind of reasoning came inside, that, hey, God is everywhere. If people are willing to go do that kind of selfless service somewhere else, I should be able to bring that attitude of selfless service inside the house also. Because these people are also public only, for that matter. So since then, this toilet situation has actually not bothered me so much. And downstairs bathroom, I don't manage. My children only manage. And most often, I see, what is that called? Hair in the drain. Here, I manage to remove the hair and all that because I'm particular. But there, they are not particular. What can I do about it? So that was also bothering me. There also I had to work. Then once or twice, again, I surrendered and I told. And next time, every time I told them, I didn't expect them to actually go ahead and do it then and there. So that next day when I go see it, it should not be there. It should all be fixed. That was the expectation in the past. But slowly, that expectations have actually gone down. Tomorrow also, if I see the same thing and they have still not done it, I remind them again. I'm okay to remind them again because I'm not using that bathroom every day. I mean, to some extent, that was my approach. So you have to find your own approach because you have to see what is the limited feeling that you have. It's not about right or wrong in any situation. It's about what bothers you. What may bother me may not bother you. What bothers you may not bother me. So it is more about what is that likes and dislikes that you have, which bothers you. You work on that botheration because that is what the POSC is trying to show you. And someday you will align to that state of coming to the center. And when you come to the center genuinely, then that problem can still be there, but it will not bother you. See, for example, if you take people like Ramana Maharshi and all of that, they were always in that state of samadhi. They were always in that state of samadhi, which means center. And if you look at all of the people in front of them, they were still seeing sadness and this and that and all that, right? In front of them, people sadness, people were dying or whatever, lack, poverty, hunger, everything they saw. But it did not bother them because the drama of life, they've understood that the drama of life will continue. It just because he's Ramana Maharshi doesn't mean that his entire world is full of Ramarajya. There is only abundance, prosperity, peace. No, it was never like that. His body also saw cancer. So that, as at least maybe until some point in some soul's journey, we will always still be seeing problems in front of us. But the whole journey is about not the problem going away, but the problem not bothering you. That's all. Right? You are not growing because the problem is there. You are growing because the problem bothers you. So when you work on the botheration part, then the problem may be that, the problem may not be there. That depends on that depends on God and what's his wish and how much more it has to be there. Maybe there's still more learning for you. That is why it's still there. We don't know. Even I am a participant in this whole thing, right? Even I am like you, still in the ignorance, and whatever little knowledge he has given, I'm coming to share that. So understand, problems are not here to be solved. Challenges are not here to be solved. They will solve themselves. You are here to only work on things that are bothering you, that emotion, the botheration emotion. So how do you know that you are getting better? If something was bothering you 10 times in the past, now it is probably bothering you only 5 times. 5 intensity is 5 times the measure. In the past, it was 10 times more strong, but now it is only 5 times strong. Maybe it is now 2 times strong, 1 time strong, and it doesn't bother you anymore. So that should be your measure of whether you are growing or no. Because we can't change our family, we can't change the situations we are in, circumstances that are coming in our life. We have planted ourselves in wherever we are supposed to be, because that is what is necessary for our growth. Okay, so that is about this. Then yeah, I told about this, right? So, but yeah, don't be judgmental about people when they are doing some problems like this in the house. Because again, watch yourself. What are these things that are coming out from within you? Remember, the more limitations you have, the less you are, rather the farther you are from that godly state. That same God is farther, because there are more limitations, which means there is so much more work to be done to get to that whole state, divine state. So more challenges will come. So our job is to constantly keep removing our limitations, botherations, and all of that, keep going higher. That's all. What is there will still be there. Problems here will keep appearing as problems. You went to a place where the same problem does not look like a problem anymore. That's all. Okay, so that is about it. Then I think Jay Sudha was talking about how to be in high frequency mode. So that high frequency mode is acceptance and surrender. This class itself is taking you to the high frequency mode. The teachings here, when you continue to practice, is already high frequency. When we talk about chanting, chanting takes you to high frequency, they say. Does every person who chant get the same result? No. Why? Because one is totally surrendered and having faith and trust in that tool that he has used, which is chanting. That surrender is a common word that is there across anything that you use in the world to take you to that center. And you have to be able to accept the supremacy of God to be able to surrender. Without having that supremacy feeling, the understanding that the Supreme God has given me these things for the right reasons, without that kind of a foundation, you will also not want to surrender. Why do you want? Like I was asking her, why did you go to ChatGPT? Because ChatGPT has no work to do. He's a third party, right? That's a third party. She comes to me for many ideas and doubts and advice and all that. Why didn't she come to me? Because I was an opponent at that time. So when you see somebody as a threat, you will also not be able to see them as somebody that you want to trust, because you think that that person is going to act against me, possibly. The same, it's not about me, it's about that situation, whether I can be a guru at that time, or I can be, or the one who's showing direction, or I can be a person who's an opponent. It is the same person who can be different, who's playing different roles for different situations. So who is this God in your life? Do you trust him enough to be able to practice acceptance and surrender? So that, because when you keep doing these things, it is so addictive, if you ask me. It is so addictive. It is so satisfying. We are looking for happiness all our life, but we are not doing it right. We are doing it through ego. We need to be able to teach the ego. We can't go against the ego. We need to teach our ego to accept God as an ally or as a friend who is trustworthy, who you can put faith on, and the one who will never fail you. And even if you don't understand why some things are coming in your life, you should be having so much of belief on that person that irrespective of whether you like it or no, you should trust that whatever came to you is probably the best. That is why it was coming to me. So like that. Okay. So that is which is why I say practice these things. It's already already a high frequency approach. You can continue to follow what you're already following: chanting, meditation, kriya, gratitude practice, anything you can continue. But unless it comes from a foundation of acceptance and surrender, it will usually not work in your favor. Even gratitude, somebody said, oh, I did gratitude, but all of these situations are still coming. No, we don't do gratitude to make some problem go away. Yeah, it's like, if you use it more like a cunning person, yeah, you can use it like that. But then gratitude is given to something that you already have got in life. You're saying thank you to something that you already have. So it is an art of taking your mind, training your mind to look at things that you already recognize that you have in your life. So that is gratitude. So the more you keep the whole day, if you're trying to spend time on, yes, I have this, yes, I have this, I have this also, I have that also, I have this much, I have this much, I have this much. When you're more in that kind of a mode, then there is no worry, there is no space for lack at all. And lack, when you feel lack in some area of your life, that is where all of the drama starts. So the whole point of this acceptance, surrender, and all of that is to go from a place of lack to a place of abundance. Because if you are in a place of lack, whatever circus you do, you will still be in a place of lack. The only way to get out from a place of lack to a place of abundance is to continue to recognize all that we already have and accept them in their life. Accept that there is a feeling of lack in this area, and that is where I need to focus on to make it abundant. Otherwise, what is there for learning anyway? Right? This is what is a skill that I'm talking about. In somebody asked, right? What is the skill that Shamla, I think she was asking, what is skills that we are talking about? What are those tools? Tools are like, let's say, knowledge, all this science, maths, or it could be anything, acceptance, surrender, anything. Rather, or let's say chanting, meditation, all these are tools. But what are the virtues? Virtues are the character building qualities that you have. The character building qualities are like truthfulness, right? The fortitude that you have to keep going, the consistency. You have an attitude of constantly being consistent with your practices, or the attitude of practicing acceptance in your life, accepting God, the practice of surrender, bringing surrender in your life. All of these are called virtues. Or let's say, this is what builds your personality. It is what makes your soul brighter and brighter. Those qualities you will take back from one life to the other life, because those are your subtle body qualities. It is not your physical body, your mind, or your intellect's qualities. But then if you let's say use a washing machine or something like that, that is something coming out of learning the operations of this tool. So those and all you will drop here in the body only, and you'll go. The skills, for example, a child went to first standard, second standard, third standard, he learned science, maths, physics, this, that, and all. He went to 10th standard. But what is the child actually learning at a subtle body level that he's going to carry back to the next life is that discipline. The discipline of constantly going back to do their homework every day, the discipline of maybe respecting the teacher, or the how do you interact with other students? Are you being a bully, or are you talking kindly to them? Are you helping a student who's in need? So many different qualities that we learn during the school period, right? Hardworking, all of those are skills that we will carry back, where it cannot be measured. But science, maths, physics, including Vedas, including Upanishad, including Bhagavad Gita, all of that we will leave here only and go. So the same tools will come back in your next life also. Same physics, same ABCD, same Bhagavad Gita, everything will come back in your next life. But for some other situation, it might come back. In some other form, it might come back. But what will stay with you life after life, which you will continue to improve life after life, are these skills and virtues. And acceptance and surrender are those skills that you will have to carry back. And it is one of the most advanced skills. And it is common to flourishing in anything that you touch. Any materialistic area that you touch in your life, whether it may be relationships or money or health or whatever it is, you need these two virtues to be practiced. If you become good at this, you can master any area. So these skills that you take at a soul level, you take at a subtle body level, you carry from one life to another life, right? Those will actually, if you strengthen that, if you continue to keep strengthening that, it can apply to any worldly task. But if you become good in any worldly task, you cannot apply that to become good in any subtle body skills. You can't strengthen your subtle body skills. Understand? So that is why, to Shamala's question, I was telling, where she was asking for me the doubt, that you need to go behind those skills that you can take back. So not the skills, sorry, the virtues that you can take back, the habits that you can take back, the qualities that you can take back. The more you strengthen those, then automatically your life will start improving, because the qualities that reflects the subtle body strength and all of that, right? That will automatically make your soul evolve. That evolution is possible. So that you're growing faster. Okay, so that is about it. Then she was also asking about food. Food is a topic that is very emotional to her. And she was not feeling full. There was a lot of emotional eating, feeling guilty, less energetic, because there is a lot of judgment given to what the husband eats. Okay, to a large extent, she has overcome the feelings that what other people eat. Because when we come into nature cure and when we come into these kind of areas, I mean, I have been there. There is so much of at least I have been a vegetarian. She asked me to give my life example. So I've been a vegetarian all my life, at least in this life. And I became a vegan in 2012, right? But when I became vegan, why did I become vegan? Because I found reasons, strong reasons to go vegan. So when I went, so usually when we jump into some new area, there will always be a lot of reasons given to us saying why the area that you are following is not okay, and why you should be jumping into this new area, which is absolutely okay. So they'll tell some wrong, bad things about this so that you can follow this new approach. You'll see some side effects or something about this old method that you're following. And then you will understand some benefits of this new one. So you will say, okay, fine, let me jump into this so that I get these benefits. Okay, typically that's why we go from one thing to another thing, right? So when I came like that only, because I was also having health issues. So I jumped because somebody said that I'm going to be able to live. So I started following the vegan approach because I was nearly dying twice in my past old lifestyle. It was not because of the food or anything. It was because I was clogged up with a lot of emotions, that with hate, with jealousy, with frustration, with irritations and all of those things. I was clogged up and I clogged myself up. But in those days, I used to think that my POSC is actually doing it to me. I used to hate the POSC. So because I used to hate the POSC, I used to judge the POSC, blame them, all of those things, I drank the poison and expected them to die. Who was dying? I only died. I only nearly died twice. But somehow I recovered because somebody showed me a path saying, eventually somebody showed me a path saying, you will live here if you do this. So I blindly went and followed that. So that was where I started my vegan journey. But when I started my vegan journey, obviously, I learned to see flaws in my old lifestyle. And all of those things happened. And then I saw animal cruelty. I saw videos of animal cruelty, cows being tortured and all of those things. And then apart from the ethical reasons, health reasons also why shouldn't you have dairy? Why shouldn't you have meat? All of those things came into my life. So what I'm trying to tell is, typically when you look at life, let's say this is life, you're walking along life like this. Let's say you're walking along life like this. Suddenly you find some new area. Okay, I'll come down. Let me come closer. Okay. You walking along life like this. Probably I was a non-vegetarian in some past life. Then I came into vegetarian lifestyle. Then I finished vegetarian lifestyle experience. I'm going forward. And then I found a reason to go vegan. Now, let's say I went into the depth of vegan lifestyle. So what is happening here is this is the state of calmness or oneness or whatever you want to call it. Let's say God or whatever. So once I keep going deeper and deeper and deeper into the subject, what is happening is I'm going farther and farther away from that center or that godness, God or acceptance. So now I'm going more and more, I'm finding more and more reasons why something is wrong, something is wrong, something is wrong. So I go to the depth and I feel really very suffocated here at this point. And then I keep coming top. Here, whatever I felt is wrong, the same thing will start coming to me as an experience and saying, I start accepting that into my life. It doesn't mean I'm going to start eating it, but mentally I used to hate here, but I no longer hate that here. Same experiences came. Let's say here, I hate meat. I hate people who are eating meat. I'm judging them. But at some point in my life, maybe as I'm climbing up, okay, people may eat meat, but I don't judge them anymore. It is their journey. Even if it's my husband, even if it's my children, I may tell them, don't eat meat, blah, blah, blah. I might give them gyan. But it doesn't mean that they need to accept whatever I'm saying. So this is a journey. I'm talking about ourself, how we come across these journeys. So many beliefs and limitations and do's and don'ts we come into as we keep going deep. Some people may be here. You don't know where you are in this depth, in this whole depth where you are. You may be here, you may be here, you may be here, you may be here. But I found myself eventually going on this path where suddenly my awareness and my experiences started to show me that I need to accept them the way they are types. I didn't try to do that here because that kind of mind also was not there. See, who's bringing all these experiences? God. So you just have to allow these things to come into your life. So when it came, I had good reasons why I need to accept them. Then I accepted wheat into my lifestyle, why I was okay. I never used to even bring wheat into the house. I was okay. And because my family was already eating wheat outside in my in-laws' house and all of that. I was like rigid, oh, wheat should not come into this house kind of thing. Okay, it was more of power play. So that power play I started leaving. So many things I started leaving. So what will happen when you come to this point is you will take the best from this whole thing. You will do churning and churning will happen, like how they churn butter out of milk or whatever, curd or whatever. And then the butter, the cream or something that comes out will be the best of this subject. And everything would have got converted to oneness. You'll still be eating fruits. You'll probably still be having some habits which are coming from this, but you'll no longer have hate for anything. You'll no longer be judging anything as bad. You may not follow it in your life. You may not eat meat. You may not have dairy. Those are actions. Mentally, you will still accept them as God only. Right? So that is going to happen in every part of our life. Tomorrow, when I keep going, I might go into some other depth. And as I keep going, maybe this is, let's say, enlightenment stage or whatever. In this point, I will have the best of everything. And till here, all the experience that I've come will only be oneness. There won't be hate. There won't be bad in my head at all. I'll be in the center. There is no bad. There is no good. I'm not in duality anymore. I'm in the center. Yeah. Yes, Ranjita. Oh,
Smita, I understand the fact that you have said that you have now accept or see the meat or whatever which we foresee before as bad, now it is good because that is also a God. Because for few people, if we ask, they may say this meat is also given by God. So that level of understanding. But at least me, if you ask, I'm still accepting it as a God, but I'm not okay to eat it now, right? What can we call this? I understood meat is also God.
It's about you. It's about you evolving yourself. What are the limit? We are in this whole class, what we are talking about our emotions, our feelings. So what do you feel about that experience that is coming to you? Your husband is eating, somebody's husband is eating meat. In the past, it used to bother you. So how can you come from a state of non-botherance to a state, from a bothering state to a state of non-bothering? That is what I'm talking about. So in every single thing, when the experience comes to you, watch yourself and see what bothers you. And then go to a state of acceptance. That is what I'm talking about. That's all. Here, there is nothing like meat is bad, meat is good. Those are beliefs. Ultimately, every belief that we put is a meaning that we give to an experience. Life as such is meaningless. What you may say is good, somebody else will say bad. So how is that? Then it's like it's not common at all across people. So what is your belief? You made that belief for whatever reason in the past. So it is, if that is stopping you from going ahead in your journey, then rethink about it is what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that you need to rather force other people or something. I'm just saying you are working on yourself. That's all. And if those emotions are heavy for you, then it is time to go and see why. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah, Smita, it's not about others, like with others or with respect to that food, that acceptance has come. I'm also seeing that as a godly thing only. But even this, I'm not eating meat is not, giving me any sort of high emotions. But I just wanted to understand what is that my decision of not taking meat is called. Because even though I have acceptance with all these foods, I still don't eat meat. That is my point,
It
right?
is, see, it is like this. For me, I would say, okay, those are low frequency foods. Every food has its own frequency.
Yeah.
Those are foods that help me when, as a god, I was in those low frequency experiences. I wanted those low frequency experiences. So my mind was okay to consume them. And the meat was also there in my experience for me to eat. Over time, I have evolved in some, I've come to different frequencies. And in my current frequency, it is not my food anymore. I don't have to hate it because in the past, it has given me experience. And it doesn't mean that everything I call as good, I have to bring it into my life back again.
Got
Like the other example that I gave, a rose is beautiful on the tree. It doesn't mean that you need to make it yours. Because plucking and keeping that rose is not going to serve you in your evolution. Like that it is. It is more about mentally, do you have a low frequency thing for that particular experience? If yes, be willing to let it go. Just give me a minute. Okay. So I hope you understood what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, Smita, I got it. Yeah.
No, let me just, Pranavi, just 2 minutes. Let me finish off this food part. Or maybe I can also continue this in the next one because I think there's a lot. Okay, yes, you tell me your question because I think we are anyway out of time. Yes, Pranavi.
This is a question. I just have it in my mind. I'm not sure it's right or wrong, but then, like, if our emotions and energies are really so peaked up and high, it doesn't even matter that even if I eat a non-veg or eat anything for the matter, I'm going to be fine. I'm not that I'm going to be fine. It's neutral. It doesn't mean anything.
What
Like
I
this.
What
Okay.
I understand from that, your question is, correct me if I'm wrong. So if I don't have any, if I have a neutral opinion about meat, and even if I eat meat, that meat should not harm me. I must still be healthy. That's what you're saying, right? So many times what happens in whatever frequencies we are, why are you even wishing to eat meat? Because of its taste, correct? That itself is a low frequency thing. It's a desire. That desire, why do we desire something? Because we feel that we lack something. Right? There are some books that I have read in which there are some people in the Himalayas, some saints, who have also eaten dead bodies that were floating in the Ganga or something like that. They didn't have desire to eat anything. They just thought everything was Panchabhutas. Do we have that state now? We don't have that state. Because for you, let's say for us, eating chicken or let's say chicken 65, I don't know many of these were things, but I'm just saying, let's say some recipe that you are very fond of. Eating that will actually give you happy. But for them, eating a raw meat also will be okay for them. Because all that they wanted to is fill their stomach. Are we there yet? Because we are not there, we can't do that. It's not enough to not do that.
I just asked from your point of the perspective you're saying, only not out of desire, but for the need to fill our stomach, and if that is what is available in front of us, and we are mentally and emotionally and energetically aligned, so it is going to be doesn't make any difference. Like somewhere I got the
For example, let's say, depends on person to person. If a person thinks that, okay, this is the only food in front of me, maybe I'm in a desert, I'm going to die. There may be some people who will say, okay, I'm not going to eat meat. Death is also anyway just a phase. It will come and go. I'd rather die. There are people who will tell like that. Or there are people who will say, I'm afraid to die. I want to live. I'll eat this meat and I will live. So each person can think differently. What I think is a situation is very personal to each other. Okay, let's say there is a situation where I have to eat this, there is no other choice because there is no other food available, whatever. And if you choose to eat it for whatever reason, because you think that is the only choice you have and you choose to eat it, then surrender and eat it. Be willing to, let's say, become sick. Because see, if we have a belief system that if I eat this, I will become sick, then you will definitely become sick. Right? If you have a belief, many people eat the same meat and they don't have a belief system that I will become sick, they don't become sick. Why did we make a belief system that we will become sick? Because over a period in this path that happened. It happened to us. Right or wrong, it happened. Now we have a belief system. So when you surrender, any of those belief systems that you have can come into play, and those things or those outcomes will be given to you. So that for future, you are adaptable or something. So accept the outcome also. If you're willing to say, this is what I'm going to do because I feel this is the right thing to do, then be okay with any outcome that comes also. That is what I say. I'm going to eat whatever I want, but at the same time, I don't want any outcome. That will not work. So that is why when you are willing to accept that this is the way I have to go, this food has come in front of me because I have to eat it and I have to go through some things, maybe you can build your own story there. But surrender at that time and face the outcomes, whatever that it comes also, no? Who knows, in the future, you may have to be a very strong raw vegan, so that you may need stronger experiences to say, oh, when the meat comes in front of me, I will never eat it. And it's okay that it's okay if I fast. It's okay if I don't go, I'm not going to eat also for 2-3 days. I'll be willing to take a chance. There are some people like that. When you look at Jain philosophy and all of that, they are very strong on some of these things. For them, meat is not at all food. But when you come from a background where meat is food, then these dilemmas will come. But over a period of time, if you, in the future, in some life, if you have to go on the path of, let's say, being a vegan, then the experiences also will slowly start becoming so that your belief systems will go on shape to that level, because that is your soul plan. We can't say how things are, how things are going to come, because it depends on the soul plan and what you have in your soul plan, which to go on which path, those kinds of things. Okay. So see, food as such, when we were in the 5th dimension, food, well, I think I told this in one of the classes, food was more about we putting something into our mouth, like how babies put everything into their mouth, no? Babies put everything into their mouth, even shoes and dust and paper and every toy and everything they put into their mouth, because they want to see how it tastes like or feels like. It is more about exploration. But we are not, as of now, in that exploration stage. We are more about fulfilling our lack using the food. Even I am also there. I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything. Even I do have favorites. Even now, even I go and then eat some things that I like. I may not eat, let's say, all junk foods or something, but I'm still eating some, let's say, lemon rice that I like, or let's say some dosa. I still do that. It doesn't mean we won't be able to outgrow many of these things so quickly, but what we should be able to identify is all of the low frequencies that are coming around food. Food is also like a POSC to us. When that POSC comes in front of us, what is that triggering in front of me, inside me? And you should be willing to say, I will accept this. That doesn't mean that that food will probably go away from your life as soon as possible. Those consequences and everything is like a spiral. It will keep coming and then over time it will go. But what I'm saying is, first identify these emotions and all of that. But in my experience, what I've truly found is it is easier to get out of this spiral, food spiral, if you ask me, craving spiral and all of those things, the more you physically also become clean. Physically, you bring in a lot of natural foods like fruits, vegetables, juices. The more you flush your body with juices and all of that, the more your body becomes aligned to surrender, aligned to acceptance. Because the toxins will keep you, the toxins are all gross toxins, right? They are going to keep us more in the low frequencies. And as the toxins start leaving our body, the body's frequency also starts going higher. And as per those higher frequencies, you will get appropriate awareness and you will get appropriate motivation to do certain things, clarity to do certain things, willingness to do certain things. Growth on this path is not impossible if you are not on these things, but it is easier if you are more on a plant-based lifestyle, more on juices, fruits, salads, at least 3/4 part of your day, at least 50% of your day. If you bring in a lot of liquids into your body, because this physical body, which is connected to the mind, and there is a gut-brain connection and all of that, this is all made up of lots of toxins sometimes over a period of time. So when we start to flush the body with lots of natural juices, at least water to start with, or maybe some soups, vegetable broth, lots of vegetable broth, at least 1 to 2 liters of liquids if you're at least constantly drinking. Overall in your day, if you're at least bringing 3 to 4 liters of liquids every single day, have at least one meal of fruits, some salads in a day, and slowly wean all the animal products. It is then you will see that it gets easier. Your mind, the same mind which was there in the past, it slightly changes because all of the liquids, right? If you've attended my divine design, in divine design, we've clearly seen that energy travels faster when your body is well hydrated. So your low frequencies are not going to leave your body when there is a lot of clogging and dehydration inside. See, you're putting so much of effort to come into acceptance, surrender, and all of that, right? When you go there, when you go to those points, those energies will leave the body. But for that to easily leave the body, if your body is well hydrated, it actually helps. Otherwise, it's not impossible, but it will take a longer time. That's all. Or you have to, even when people have gone through meditations and all of that, and they, let's say, healing and all happens, they have practiced meditation for a very long time, in maybe past lives and all that, they've practiced meditation. So meditation was a plan for them to heal this time, because that was the experience that they wanted. But For everybody, that did not happen. So there are many, many tools. You have to try all the tools to be able to see what works for you, what you resonate with. In my experience, a plant-based lifestyle and being on having a well-hydrated body has actually given me a lot of spiritual growth, if you ask me. I will not say only that. It all came together. But the fundamental thing was this journey where liquids have been very high in my life. And fruits only started maybe only later. In 2017, only fruits started. But before that, liquids were still high. I used to be on vegetable broths a lot. Just cook vegetables in cooker or something. And I used to drink that water with some lemon and cumin powder or something. Or drink some lemon juice. Those days, lemon juice I used to drink. Tender coconuts. But somehow I used to have a lot of skin issues. So the habit of drinking liquids have been very high. And intuition becomes very strong if you're constantly on a lot of liquids on a daily basis. Why? Because emotions will also see the atoms of liquids, the nature of liquid atoms are flowing in nature, right? So you will also start to align with that movement of liquids. The nature of aligning with the universe comes very naturally to you, will come very naturally to you, in my experience. And I've not just seen this in my life. Many clients who have not even taught spirituality became like that. Only then later on I realized, oh, there is a connection. It was more of an observation for me that I'm sharing here. But I did not come into this conclusion because for me, even my life was a self-discovery only. I never even knew what was happening in my life until experience came first, knowledge happened later. So all I can say is it's easy. If on this lifestyle, it's easy if you are on plant-based and maybe with lots of juices or some amount of liquids. Even if you can't bring some daily juices, ashgard juice, watermelon juice, whatever one juice you can bring some juice. And then even if you can't bring fruit juices, vegetable juice, and bring a lot of vegetable broth with little different vegetables, put it into the water, cook it, drink it. So that is much better than not having any liquids. At least 3 liters if you're able to bring in on a daily basis. Flushing will be easy. Because if this mind has put toxins into the body, then the body has to clean physical toxins first. Then only the mind will start aligning. Otherwise, mind wants to do so many things, but the body will not cooperate. So there's a lot of, connection between the body and the mind. Okay. So I'll talk more about this food in the next class also, along with surrender. Yeah, Neha, you had a question?
Hello. Hi, Smita. So I have a question related to gratitude practice and the magic book which you have done earlier. So as we said, like gratitude should be more from the space of like you already have it, and then you are expressing your gratitude. So when we make the vision board or when we, dream of, from where does it come? Because we are dreaming of something that we want or we imagine that we actually have it and then we pray gratitude. So is it right to make a vision board or it's not? I just have that.
See, it's not about right or wrong. It's about it's about a person, wanting to experience that journey. See, if you ask me to make vision boards, I may not be so interested in making, because that is what I am. But then if somebody else may be very interested to dream about something and then collect, let's say, pictures about something, make something, and have that in their life for an experience, it is not wrong. They are just using the creative energy to still do that. See, whether you do a vision board, whether you do any form of affirmation, anything, you are still going into acceptance and surrender, right? Because who is the one? You're still accepting that there is a supreme force. When I ask, it is going to bring this experience to me. You're accepting that there is something higher, and whatever is happening to me, let's say some knowledge came to me, you accepted that that knowledge came to me is the right thing, it is going to fulfill this desire and all of that, and then you're surrendering it, right? You don't know when it's going to happen.
Hmm.
You don't know like in what form it will happen, what is going to be the color, shape of the house that you've planned, all that you don't know. But you definitely put it on the vision board, and then you surrendered. I sent two videos of conscious manifestation versus surrender in the acceptance group. In that, I've clearly spoken about the levels of consciousness where a person initially will be in victim consciousness. He will be thinking that the world is my enemy. God gives me all these problems. He's a villain. All of that will be there. So you're dodging. You're saying this experience is coming, that experience is coming. I need to fight this. So it's more of victim mentality. You're thinking something is happening to me, which I don't like, and I don't know how to control it. And you are sad because you have no way to stop it. The next level of consciousness, when we are as a part of evolution, when we go to the next level of consciousness, we are in a level where we are saying, okay, there is some connection between what is happening to me and somebody is sending this. Let me observe. So you're in the state of observation. And you're saying, okay, if I say good things, good will happen to me. If I say bad things, bad will happen to me. It's like you're putting something into a hole, and something from the hole is actually sending you back something. So you're more of observing the input-output thing. So that is one level of the second level of consciousness. The next level, you know clearly that this is how the universe is behaving. And you are now more about observing, what if I don't do anything? I'm just going to be a good person. Let me see what the universe is going to do. So you are more of observing like that. So that is where you're also doing manifestations and all of those things, where you're saying, I will do X number of things and then I will leave it off, which means you're telling, I want these things as a part of my desire. And then you're still surrendering. And then you are following a process to keep yourself energetically higher and all of that. And then it is going to come back to you. Because in the previous consciousness, you observed that if you do something, some equal
It comes
returns are
back.
going to come back to you, no? So here you are modifying that to manifestations, conscious manifestations. After that fourth level of consciousness, where you are clearly saying that, hey, if I ask something, I'm going to get it. Fine. But I spent so much of time asking it, but once I got it, I'm not actually very happy for a very long time. I'm still again running behind something else. All that time and all that effort, that energy I spent to get to this milestone, I'm not even very happy being in this milestone. Now I want to go to a next milestone. So they'll start to become very tired of this jumping. They'll realize that even though I jump from one milestone to the other, I'm not truly happy, because that happiness is not long lasting. So then they'll learn to surrender. And they'll say, it's okay. I have understood that whatever is coming to me, see, that is where gratitude practice also comes in. Initially, in the first few chapters, when Rhonda says, do gratitude for this reason, relationship will get fixed, money will get fixed, this will get fixed, that will happen, all that she says. That is for initial level of consciousness. But in the later on, when you go towards the last few chapters, you are more into surrender, she explains. Because you have to build that energy to be able to understand and come to that level of surrender. So when you are in surrender, by the time you are in already that last few chapters of gratitude, you have already got so much of stuff that is now constantly coming to you. Magic is constantly happening around you. You are like overwhelmed after practicing so much of gratitude that you'll say, oh my God, so many things I did not even ask, but it is constantly coming into my lap because you just did gratitude. But good things are happening. You didn't even ask for it. It came. So you start realizing that, hey, the universe is very kind. Even if I don't ask, it is giving me. And she teaches us to go and then look for different areas of our life where we did not ask at all, and it has already come. So she's teaching you the art of surrender already. And then you go and learn surrender and you say, I am going to do whatever I have to do. I know that whatever is going to come to me is for my best. So you are surrendering. So after surrender, you will learn. So here in surrender, first part of surrender, you will be more about surrendering the outcomes. The enjoyership is what you're surrendering. You're not controlling the enjoyership. You're saying anything that comes, I'm going to enjoy. I know I will enjoy. So, but then over time, what will happen? You're saying that everything is to be enjoyed. Whether I'm doing, whether I'm not doing, everything is to be enjoyed. So all the outcomes are to be enjoyed. And then you'll start realizing, hey, am I the person who's also enjoying? I'm not the person who's enjoying. I'm just the person who's observing. So that level of clarity will slowly start coming in fifth, sixth level of consciousness, where you'll say, okay, yeah, I'm not even the enjoyer. Life is just happening to me and everything is good. By the time you're not thinking about the good outcome, bad outcome, all that, you're not there. You're just accepting all outcomes. And then slowly, the I'm not the doer also will go off. That energy that is flowing through me, the belief systems that I have is made me do this. I felt right to do this. I didn't plan for this whole thing. In this moment, that clarity came, I did. It's like some instructions came and I did. I'm not the doer. Somebody decided, I was just an instrument. So that kind of thing will come, and slowly, that there is no doing, there is no enjoying. You are just there. You are just in that state of being. Over time, that samadhi state and all will come. So this is, and in these levels, none of this is wrong. Conscious manifestation is not wrong, because those things, when you do only know, you will realize the next few steps.
Okay.
Right? You need lessons of the past to get the wisdom of the future.
Oh,
If you
thank
feel
you.
interested to do some of these conscious manifestations, do it. There is nothing wrong with that. But over time, you will understand the value of doing some of these few other things also. But if this class is coming to you, maybe you're ready for it also. Maybe one leg here, one leg there. Now, some people might be both the legs already in this level, in the surrender thing. Some people might have one leg here, still trying to transition. So it is all about the knowledge is going to, the knowledge and is coming, but just practice. Just practice. Don't be hesitant to leave anything, because you are not losing anything from any kind of practice that we are doing here. Do that also, do this also. Whatever feels right to you, you should start doing it.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, Smita, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So I may have to shut my video
Oh.
in case the connection is weak. Yeah.
Deepti,
So,
can you come on
yes.
video, or are you already in video?
Are you able to? My connection is weak. So I am on video. Maybe you're not able to see me.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I can see you.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
So last class, I want to ask one thing. I tried to implement the knowledge which we learned. You know, the situation, the pose, when it comes, and when you are in the feeling of, I'm not stuck, right?
No.
You can hear me? Okay, fine. So the
Yes, I
feeling,
can hear you.
when I'm in the feeling of insult, the feeling of feeling sadness. So the pose is coming, and I chose to be coy. And I'm in that state where I'm feeling inside. But what I observed is, earlier when I used to say, I used to react, I used to feel light, but now I'm responding, taking time, so I'm feeling very heavy inside. So after one pose, second pose, third pose, fourth pose, I exploded. Sorry.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, how to inside? Yes.
Did you
Yes.
say that you were able to implement it? There was a lag there.
Yes, I tried. I implemented. I felt very light when I used to react, shout, and inside I'm feeling heavy inside. I'm in that feeling. But then how to cope with that feeling when I'm feeling that irritation, when I'm feeling I want my own time. So I am getting stuck there. So I thought of asking you, is it going to take time? Am I on the right path?
See, it like I said, there is never a period where you will be free of all of those irritations, frustration, sadness, and all of that. You will never be free
Yeah.
because
Hmm.
POSs will keep coming to clean you up. Otherwise, you are still not in that Krishna consciousness or anything, right? So, which means you're still work in progress.
Right,
So,
right.
as long as we are in work in progress, something or the other will keep coming. And in some parts, in some POSC situations, we may be 80% through. In some things, we are still 20% through. Some things we have just started, it is still very hot and we are still reacting. In some cases, we have learned to respond. In some cases, it has now fully, that response has actually come and then it is not at all bothering. So we are in various stages of growth in many POSC situations, because it's not just one factor that is getting addressed. For example, for me, lack of trust, lack of self-esteem issues were very high. So I had to, some things might take years. Let's say to build trust on somebody or something, it might take few years in some cases. But maybe that lack of self-esteem issues might take may not be so many years as trust issues. Maybe being truthful, or let's say jealousy. That jealousy part reduced maybe in, let's say 2 years or something, 3 years. But let's say maybe selfish esteem issues took 5 years for me. Like that, each of these things will take their own period. But when you get irritated and frustrated, even if you react, even if you shout back, just understand that, okay, yes, at least after reacting, I'm able to understand that that awareness came, no? That awareness of that knowledge that had come to you came. Oh yeah, see, I reacted. That's all, that's
Right.
enough. That is also
Right.
progress. Next
I
time, actually
felt
keep practice. Just leave that irritation came into you, frustration came into you, leave it. Don't linger on that feeling. Think that they showed you something, you saw something, now you are moving on with your life. Because if you continue to keep staying with it, then it is going to build you are putting that divine energy that you have to grow that low feeling. Imagine where your focus goes, energy flows. Why are we bringing acceptance and all of that into that? You are just watching it with a acceptance feeling. But if you watch it with the irritation feeling, ayo, why do I have this? Why do I have this? Then what is that? That recipe is actually not going to help you. When you put acceptance into some irritation feeling, then that recipe is going to grow you. But if you don't put acceptance, but you're putting something else, sadness or something, guilt, then that recipe is not going to help you. Which means you'll keep getting more and more. Rather, you've asked for more experiences because now you're still not done it, kind of thing. But that is also a progress. That is also something that will happen on the path. Just accept that, yes, I have irritation. Yes, I have frustration. That's all.
Okay.
Don't be guilty about it. Don't see yourself as impure or something like that. Like I said, all of us are God, 100% God only. And that God is trying to self-discover himself that I am God. I told you about that millionaire and slum story, no? Slum example I gave. We are in that kind of slum now. That doesn't mean that we are not millionaires. We are already a millionaire. Our account has that much of money. But that experience that we are having as of now is a slum experience. That doesn't mean that we are not millionaires. So remember that it is just an experience. We will eventually self-discover, get there. Because like I said, your ego has to be trained in every point of the experience to understand that I am God. Even in this level also I am God. Even in this level also I am God. Even in this level also I am God. That feeling has to eventually be, it's a training that will happen. Otherwise, ego will not allow.
Okay.
That ego has to align with God every single moment. So for now, that ego is not aligned. Say, no, I will not accept. I am going to be irritated. Just say, okay, fine. Yeah, fine. One more experience will come. 10 more experiences will come. Then that ego will align.
Mm-hmm.
Who is watching that irritation? It is the soul.
Yeah.
It is you. The awareness. The awareness is watching. It is watching that ego getting irritated and all of that. It's okay. It's okay. Chalta hai, chalta hai. It's okay. It's still a child. It is still going to take time to become an adult. It is more like that. Every portion of ego has different childlike qualities. And every portion, if it has to become an adult, it will take many lives. Or maybe it will outgrow in one life only. So don't be frustrated or irritated with the fact that you have all of that. It's okay to have all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to accept yourself, even if you are impure sort of thing. You have all of these low qualities, but still, you are still God. So it's okay to be like that. You have to accept yourself. You have to still feel proud about yourself for whatever you are, for whatever you're trying and all of those things. See, who has got all of these opportunities for you to grow, to change, to try and all of that? The same awareness, the same God will help you get over that also. Because he is the one who's doing all of these things. He is the one who's growing, not you. You are just a tool. This body is just a tool. Deepti is just a tool. Deepti doesn't have to feel bad.
Okay.
See, the
I'm
tool
going to
is
add
not
in the
well trained.
process.
What can you do? In some portion of um, autobiography of a yogi, I think Paramahamsa Yogananda will go to somebody and he'll say, why don't you grant me samadhi? So then that person will say, sorry, your body is not ready for that samadhi. When your body is ready, then your guru will grant that samadhi to you. It's a passage from that book. So as of now, if I give you that state of eternal bliss, then your body is going to get fried, he will say. So we can't become that overnight. We are training the body to slowly take in the light and go to that state of oneness. Why will you accept to go to oneness unless you see the challenges in being in duality? So we are slowly learning to see the challenges in duality before the ego surrenders and say, okay, fine, I know I'm not getting any good in duality. I'm going to go to oneness. So every portion has to become and go to oneness. And every portion has to, in everything ego has to see, this is not okay for me. I'm going to be willing to surrender. Surrender means ego will give up control.
Okay.
Will you give up control in many things? Like in one of the cases, somebody had a small child and they still want to be able to take decisions for their child and all of it, which is perfectly normal for the mother, right? So that is their journey. But in my case, let's say I have teenagers. For me, it was probably okay to surrender some things and then be willing to be okay. So where the mind is not in surrender, that is also a journey.
Right.
Maybe some portions you want to control by yourself. In some portions you want to practice surrender. That is also perfectly okay. but learn to practice wherever you are able to practice.
Sure. I'll again next week. I'm again in process. I'm going to
Yes.
try.
So this
I'll
week,
give my feedback. Yes.
every week that gap I'm giving so that you all can put this into practice and come back with your questions, because it's like a slow training, and this is going to take time, because
Mhm.
you have to learn with your family, with your work, with those kinds of things only. Those are your teachers. You will have to become enlightened with them only. You cannot sit in meditation and become enlightened. Meditation is also a part of it. But what will see, even if you sit in meditation, but you're not in surrender, you're waiting for something to happen, third eye to open and all of that, then no, that is also not helping you. So you have to practice that surrender acceptance in anything that you do. So family is the best. Like a sadhu can sit in the forest and he can do 10 years tapas, and he'll get all kinds of light, vibration, sound and everything. He will see everything. All that is okay. But when he comes into the marketplace, so much of noise, there is fish being sold everywhere, all that hangama, if he sees, if he's getting irritated, if he's getting frustrated, and if he's not in his center, then he has still not actually learned anything. So that is what we are saying. It is not about sadhana. Sadhana is on the battlefield in
Right.
front of your POSCs. That is where you have to do sadhana when the POSC is triggering you. That is what is the application of knowledge. You cannot do this in isolation. Without POSCs, you are not growing at all. And I think
Yes.
Manjula was saying, right? Her mother wakes her up, her mother is sick, and then I'm sure she's frustrated about constantly taking care of her mother. And it drains over a period of time. So she wakes her up in the night, and then she goes and asks her to pee, and then maybe with people who are taking medicines and all that, maybe there's a lot of smell in the urine and all of that, and then maybe she's getting suffocated. So she's already going into acceptance. But then when will all of these things come to a shant stage, when that acceptance becomes strong? As of now, if it is still bothering, that journey of acceptance has still not reached that zenith. It has still not reached that ultimate. The reasons that she's giving herself to accept this is still not strong enough, and it has not gone there. And who is going to give up these cooked reasons? The reasons, how is it going to come constantly flashing in your head like this? The God only will provide all that reasons. So as of now, the reasons that she has got into her head is only enough for the thing that she has to practice first. Then slowly, it will start to she'll get new reasons. The reasons, in my case only, the reasons that I have given to accept some things and come into that state of oneness. For example, rice. I never used to be able to eat rice properly. Initially, I used to get fissures when I ate rice because I used to have so much of fear. Then over a period of time, fissures went away, cold came. Cold used to come. Then cold went away, and then now nothing happens. It took how many years? 2019 to 24. 5-6 years. How much there was for me to learn in this process. And how many times you should imagine that I may have again got cold every now and then, because I still had that fear and that acceptance, that reasons that I used to give myself were not strong enough, because what I gave in 2019 and it worked for me for Fisher did not work for me when I get cold. Because now my game had to be different. My reasons had to be at a higher frequency. That combination of frequency was something else, because every moment I'm changing. So now some new reasons had to come, and so by the time you imagine what those new reasons are, that also will take time. In between, you'll fall sick, you'll get up, you'll fall sick, you'll get up, you'll fear, you'll not fear, all of that. It's all a journey. But irrespective of where you are, I encourage you to keep applying acceptance, applying surrender whenever you can. It'll keep working its own thing. At least, if not for anything, you are learning the skill which is going to help you in all the areas. Trust me, in few years, you will be a pro. Your life will be magical.
Thank
Be
you.
consistent, which is why these classes I'm doing, so that you don't forget, you can keep coming back and keep refreshing and all of that.
Right. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay. Chalo. Anju, did I answer yours or you still have
No,
it?
no. I have a question. Can I do it in the next class?
Next class is better if it's not something that is urgent.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
Or you can
I'll-
ask, no, it's okay, better do it in the class itself.
Yeah. In the next class?
Yeah.
Okay. Fine.
Thank you. Or you give the question and then maybe I'll answer in the next class.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do. Yeah.
Okay.
I did in the group itself. Yeah.
Okay. Chalo, let's do a closing prayer. To the Supreme God, we thank you for your divine blessings. To my spiritual teacher, to all the spiritual teachers, holy masters, all the saints, holy angels, spiritual helpers, and all the great ones, we thank you for your great, great blessings. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us.